Good evening. Wow. I just started the show and I've got less than a half a cup of coffee left. That's my second cup. I've been kind of sailing through the coffee this evening. Just I don't know, tastes good. Um Anywho, I've got my backup glass of tea for when I run out of coffee, because I indeed will. I've got like 10 tabs open. Well, technically 12, but one of them's my Twitter feed and the other one's Amazon. Speaking of that, just a real quick side note here. Um, Black Bean Burger is back on sale for $10.06. So, it was on sale, then it went off of sale, and then I just noticed today it went back on sale. So I figured I would let y'all know. Anywho, um, and the hang on here. Let's see. Butter was the other thing that everybody's hitting up. It's supposedly 60% off now for $17.07 for a 2 pound 4 ounce of number 10 can. So yeah, that's not a bad deal either. So I figured I'd let you guys know of that. I know Augustin Farms has been running a fair amount of deals lately, and I know there's a lot of people that are kind of trying to sew up loose ends the best they can, and I can't think of a better way to take care of the protein. You know, if you don't have any other means, if you don't have a big deep freeze and, about 2 dead cows in those deep freezes, got to come up with protein somehow. And if for whatever reason, I don't want to rely on hunting. I think that's foolish, especially for a guy that's never hunted in his life. So that would be entirely stupid of me to rely on hunting for protein, because if I'm not getting that protein that way now, I sure in the hell am not going to become the star hunter on my first time out. So let's see. Trying to think if there's anything else. I didn't get much stuff related to anything real useful done, but I did get the first repaint on flightsim.to of the F-22. So I thought, why not? So, and let's see. Still on the front page as of yet. I'm proud of it. There it is. The SimGaming Black Ops F-22. It's my my paint job for it, and I've actually already got a digital ACU camo paint job that I'm almost done with, and so that'll be a second one. But anywho, I think it's kind of fun. All right. Let's see. Other than that, didn't get a whole lot really accomplished. I got up this morning and I'm like, man, and it was eating at me to work on that plane and get the last few files finished up for it. So I couldn't resist, so I did it, and then I could take that file and make a few changes. And be able to make another aircraft. In fact, for the most part, making repaints for that plane is simple now, because I've already layered the different parts that I need. Anyway, I know you guys are so interested in that. Aside from that, like I say, I didn't. Tomorrow I'm gonna have to really get busy, because I'm gonna have to get that stuff, a good chunk of it done, from getting the stuff reorganized, rearranged, and so I hope to get a good part of that done tomorrow. And other than that, don't know of anything. Like I said, I got 10 tabs open. Figure that's quite a few. A lot of craziness, really, for a single day. I have a drink of coffee here. But yeah, highly recommend folks start putting back food, doing whatever, I do think it's going to get pretty rough. I'm not quite sure how this is going to shake out. I don't know. There's just so many different things. You got the economy. When I say the economy, I'm not just talking about one part like the housing market or international affairs, which has gone to hell. Pretty much none of it's good at this point. And, which one's going to get us first, or are they all going to get us at the same time, military conflict, currency crash, because that's what I think we're looking at. I think we're looking at a currency crash more than anything. I think but you have to understand, when you have a currency crash, everything else goes along with it. So that's the big one. And I do think we are certainly in for a currency crash, and I'm not so certain that it's not completely orchestrated and in time with other nations, in order for the great idea of, hey, you know what? You know how unfair it is, how different nations have different exchange rates, and how one nation can just up one morning and say, you know what, I think my dollar's worth more than their dollar. And they can play games. Wouldn't it be great if there was just one exchange rate from all the nations, just one currency? That's how they're going to sell it. I guarantee you that's how they're going to sell it. They're going to bring everybody to their knees, and then they're going to offer them one choice. One choice. You either join and be a part of this system, or you're completely outcast. And it's not going to be pretty. It is not going to be pretty. Not for those that don't want to be a part. And you've got a choice. You can either be a part and possibly have peace from them, maybe. Or you can be an American, and, we'll see where that road takes us. Have another sip, a couple of vapes, we'll get started. A lot of reading to do. What do I hear? That train? Fun times. Alright. North Korea fires 2 cruise missiles, says media. North Korea fired 2 cruise missiles off its west coast into the Yellow Sea early on Wednesday, a South Korean military source told Yonhap news agency. The alleged missile test coincided with a press conference by South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol, marking 100 days since he took office. It also came a day after South Korean and U.S. troops launched preliminary drills ahead of the upcoming annual Ulchi Freedom Shield war games. Pyongyang has repeatedly criticized joint military maneuvers between Seoul and Washington, branding them provocative and claiming they only increase tensions on the Korean peninsula. North Korea is banned from launching ballistic missiles under UN Security Council resolutions, but the sanctions don't cover cruise missiles. According to Yonhap, Pyongyang last test-fired cruise missiles in January. And I just don't understand how a group of nations can get together and say, you know what, this nation can't defend themselves. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And any nation that you treat that way is probably going to treat you a little barbaric. You know? I never could understand. You know, especially with Iran. But they say death to America. Yeah. If you lived there, you would probably be saying the same damn thing. There are many nations, as a matter of fact, in the last couple of decades that you could live, and you would be saying the same thing. So, what was the biggest recruitment tool for Al Qaeda and ISIS and all of them? You know, CIA, all of them. Our involvement over there, because we just drone bombed and drone bombed and drone bombed tons and tons of innocent people. That was the best recruitment tool for terrorists, right there. Anywho, Beijing confirms joint military drill with Moscow. I know in the headline I put China and Russia because they are. Well, I did that because that's shorter and you only have 100 characters. So, Chinese troops will be among the foreign participants at a multilateral military exercise, in Russia called Vostok 2022, China's defense ministry confirmed on Wednesday. The People's Liberation Army will send personnel to Russia, expecting the event to deepen pragmatic and friendly cooperation with the militaries of the participating countries, enhance the level of strategic coordination among the parties, and enhance the ability to deal with various security threats, a statement said. Beijing noted that current regional and international tensions did not affect its decision. Vostok 2022 will take place at 13 locations in eastern Russia between August 30th and September 5th, the Russian Defense Ministry announced in late July. It said foreign militaries were invited but did not specify nationalities. I'm sure the U.S. is invited to be targets. The Chinese statement mentioned Belarus, India, Mongolia, and Tajikistan among the guests. Moscow conducts a strategic exercise of this kind once a year, with one of Russia's 5 military districts picked to host it. In 2021, the Zapad maneuvers were held in the west of the country, together with Russian ally Belarus, while in 2020, the Kavkaz exercise took place in the south, with nations like Armenia, Iran, and Pakistan participating. The last event in the Eastern Military District took place in September 2018. Chinese and Mongolian troops were involved in the Russian maneuvers at the time. So, not anything that big of a deal, but it's something that we need to note that China is now taking a part in. I'm kind of curious the other nations that are going to be involved. I'm wondering if Iran will be back. Gonna probably be interesting for sure. Alright. I gotta make e-juice tomorrow. Let's see. On the website, I added this. Nothing's there yet, though. But should be tomorrow. There will be e-juice recipes there. And that's another thing I want to do my best. Well, I have to get done tomorrow. I want to make e-juice. I'm going to make a video of me making e-juice. And I'm going to put the recipes on the website. So I'll put the videos there, or the video there, along with the recipes. So I thought I would bring that up. Alright. U.S. must challenge Chinese missile launch, says an admiral. United States must contest the launch of missiles over Taiwan by China, a top U.S. military officer said on Tuesday. 7th Fleet Commander Vice Admiral Carl Thomas warned that such acts by Beijing could become the norm if allowed to go unchallenged. It's very important that we contest this type of thing. I know that the gorilla in the room is launching missiles over Taiwan, Vice Admiral Thomas told reporters in Singapore. It's irresponsible to launch missiles over Taiwan into international waters. Thomas warned that if you don't challenge it, these actions could lead to the Taiwan Strait being militarized in a similar way as the South China Sea. The 7th Fleet is based in Yokosuka, Japan, and is the largest forward-deployed fleet in the U.S. Navy. It is a key part of the U.S. military's presence in the Asia-Pacific region, making the Admiral's words all the more significant. His comments come amid high tensions between Beijing and Washington after a visit by Pelosi, you know, all that. Let's see. According to Sun Weidong, the Chinese ambassador to India, more than 160 countries, representing over 80% of the global population, expressed support for China's territorial integrity following Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. That is telling. It could be propaganda, but I'm not sure that it is. Taiwan shows off U.S.-made warplanes. Taiwan's military has responded to a slew of nearby Chinese Navy and Air Force drills by displaying its latest fighter jets to reporters and promising to respond to any attacks. Reporters were taken to the Hualien Air Base on Taiwan's eastern coast on Wednesday and were shown a rare nighttime demonstration of the country's most advanced jets. According to reports by Reuters and other media outlets, the F-16Vs took off on reconnaissance and training flights, and ground crews demonstrated how quickly they load weapons, including U.S.-made Harpoon anti-ship missiles, onto the warplanes. The display of fighting prowess came amid rising tensions with China, which cut off military and climate ties with Washington after U.S. I hate repeating that stuff over and over. In the face of the threat from Chinese Communist forces' recent military exercises, we have stayed vigilant while establishing the concept of battlefields everywhere and training any time to ensure national security, the Taiwanese Air Force said in a statement. During Wednesday's demonstration at the Hualien base, Taiwanese Defense Ministry spokesman Sun Lifang said Chinese threats presented an opportunity for Taipei's forces to sharpen their skills through increased drilling. The Republic of China's forces are confident, capable, and determined to defend the safety of the Republic of China, he said, using a formal name for Taiwan that Beijing has claimed ceased to exist in 1949. So, let's see, the F-16V is a modernized version of a U.S. fighter jet platform that has been in service since the 1970s. Taiwan deployed its first squadron of F-16Vs last November after ordering 66 of them under an agreement with former President Donald Trump's administration. They are a fine bird. They're not going to do much against a fifth-generation fighter, but, you know. I mean, real life and Top Gun are two different things. Just saying. Just saying. That was incredible. That scene in that movie where they were fighting that fifth-generation jet. That was completely awesome scene. Alright. Let's see. UK inflation smashes 40-year high. A little bit of a change of gears here. No, no dongs in the news today. Let's see. UK inflation smashes 40-year high. The UK's consumer price inflation surged to a new high of 10.1% per annum in July, up from 9.4% in June, according to new estimates from the Office for National Statistics. The figure is rapidly drawing closer to the Bank of England's expectations for October, when inflation is predicted to top 13.3%. According to the ONS, the rise of food prices made the largest contribution to the growth in inflation. Supermarkets have had little choice but to pass on price increases from suppliers themselves, contending with unprecedented inflation in raw materials and ingredient input costs. This has been particularly acute in labor and utility-intensive categories like dairy, with reports of the price of a pint of milk having more than doubled in some stores since the start of the year. Kian Tan, Director of Retail Strategy at PwC, told CNBC. Meanwhile, core inflation, which excludes energy, food, alcohol, and tobacco, also grew to 6.2% from 5.8% in June. The price rise has affected the UK real wages, which have plunged by an annual 3% in April to June period, their sharpest decline on record, according to figures released by the ONS on Tuesday. So definitely not going well there. But gets worse. Look at what the government's warning them. Savings from unplugging the fridge not worth food poisoning, says UK health authorities. This is what they're telling their citizens. Now, I don't know about you, but it sounds an awful lot to me like they don't expect people are going to have power. And for those people that do manage to be able to keep power, what are they going to have to unplug to be able to afford it? Turning the refrigerator off to save on electric bills creates the risk of infection in food, the UK Health Security Agency warned budget-conscious Brits on Wednesday as energy bills soar. Food poisoning is the result, with sudden onset stomach cramps, diarrhea, and vomiting that could be potentially life-threatening in the elderly or infirm. The man-made threat of food poisoning adds to the already formidable triple threat that Health Secretary Steve Barclay sees looming on the horizon: the soaring cost of living, another wave of COVID-19 cases, and the return of the flu, which vanished completely last year due to the use of hand sanitizer and masks, according to Public Health England. While people shouldn't scrimp on refrigeration, nor should they attempt to save money by turning off their heaters during the winter, Health Secretary Agency Chief Dame Jenny Harries warned, noting that having sufficient heat is an essential part of their health. People should heat their homes to at least 18 degrees Celsius in the winter and make up for the difference in warm clothing if necessary. Instead of fiddling with the heat or cold, shut off the television or other electronic devices and unplug those that are on standby mode, Harris suggested. She did not offer advice for those whose electricity had been shut off for non-payment. While it's not clear how many actual people have succumbed to food poisoning due to the well-intentioned unplugging of their refrigerators, a Cornwall food bank claimed in May that children were suffering from upset tummies due to their parents pulling the plug to save money. Inflation in the UK hit 10.1% on Wednesday, its sharpest increase in 40 years. The value of the currency is declining so quickly that the value of the average paycheck, excluding bonuses, is down 2.8% from last year when adjusted for inflation. That actually is just saying the stuff I covered in the last story. Let's see. Going through this, I've only got 4 tabs left, so not bad. Out of 10. I'm out of coffee, though. It's a bunch of crap. Blue won't make any for me. I mean, all this time, all the stuff I've done for her, she won't even go make me a cup of coffee. Dog has absolutely no respect for me. Oh, I got another news thing to put up. Maybe. Hang on. Hang on. Let me share it out. Fun times. Oh, there's another one up there. Put it out as well. Alright. Let's see. Germany issues energy warning. Germany's energy regulator has warned that the nation will struggle to have enough natural gas to get through the coming winter, even if reserves are topped up in line with government targets, Bloomberg reported on Wednesday. The Federal Network Agency says natural gas storage sites are currently 77% full, which is 2 weeks ahead of schedule. However, according to the regulator, the target of being 85% full by October could be challenging, taking into account the risk of a cooler-than-normal autumn and the chance of further supply disruptions. It further noted that the November target of 95% seems hard to achieve because some storage sites require more time to fill. Even if that target is reached, it would cover less than 3 months of heating, industrial and power demand in case of Russia cuts off gas supplies completely, the FNA warned. I cannot promise you that all storage facilities in Germany will be 95% full in November, even under good supply and demand conditions, said FNA President Klaus Müller. In the best-case scenario, 3/4 of them will meet the target. The German government, which has been racing to fill its winter stocks, has also urged businesses and citizens to lower consumption, warned of energy rationing, and this week slapped a levy on gas use. So, I do expect this stuff to come here. I really do expect to see this. And no, I don't think that we're even remotely that hurting for fuel. I think we are being put in this position. I think the world is being put in this position. I think their intent is to bring as many nations to their knees at one time, the citizens of those nations. And then, like I said, they're going to have all these nice, pretty packaged solutions with bows on them, and all you have to do is give in to the system. That's all you got to do. And they're going to take care of the rest. Or you can live in squalor, not be able to partake in any part of their system, and probably be imprisoned or killed before it's all said and done with, because that's pretty much how they do it. Let's see, and as if that ain't all some great news, let's see what we can do next. Scientists aim to resurrect an extinct species. That's a good idea. Australian scientists want to use advanced genetic engineering techniques to make an artificial living cell of a Tasmanian tiger and then produce in a tube new members of the extinct species. The project is being pursued by a lab at the University of Melbourne, which announced this week that it has partnered with the Dallas-based genetics firm called Colossal Biosciences. The Australian lab, known by the acronym TIGER, needs American expertise and computational power to recreate the animal's genome based on sequencing it did in previous years. They say their gene data is the best available for an extinct animal so far, giving them high hopes of success. A lot of the challenges with our efforts can be overcome by an army of scientists working on the same problem simultaneously, conducting and collaborating on the many experiments to accelerate discoveries, said Professor Andrew Pask, the head of Tiger. With this partnership, we will now have the army we need to make this happen. Yeah. You know what? I'm sure Jurassic Park really comes to mind for most people. Do you know what comes to mind for me? Chucky. That's right. From Stephen King. No doubt. That's what I see. Chucky. I see the cat. I can't remember the cat's name. Let's see. Kids for Cash judges hit with $206 million penalty. Now, I think they should get a lot more. I think there needs to be criminal charges. They need to do a lot. Let's see. Hang on. Okay, now I got it. Two former U.S. judges have been ordered to pay $206 million in civil court damages for taking kickbacks from a builder of a for-profit jail to send hundreds of children to his lockup. Sorry, I'm just butchering this. The Pennsylvania ex-jurists Mark Clavarella and Michael Conahan must pay more than $106 million in compensatory damages and $100 million in punitive damages to nearly 300 of their victims. You hear that? Nearly 300 victims. So he sent nearly 300 kids, right, to a detention center just so that his buddy could make money, right? And all they get is a fine? I wonder how much money they made. That's something that would probably be a good idea to know. Let's see. The two men were previously convicted on criminal charges in connection with their scheme, though Conahan was released to home confinement last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, how handy. Under the so-called Kids for Cash scandal, Ciavarella and Conahan shut down a county-operated juvenile detention center and took $2.8 million in bribes from the developer of two for-profit jails, PA Childcare and Western PA Childcare, according to testimony in a civil lawsuit. The judges sent children as young as 8 to the jails, in many cases for such petty offenses as jaywalking or smoking on school grounds. Ciavarella, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, often ordered children to be immediately shackled and taken away without giving them an opportunity to speak in their defense or say goodbye to their families, the Associated Press reported. Some of the plaintiffs, who are now adults, testified that they are suffering long-term effects from their wrongful incarceration, including one who said, "I feel I was just sold out for no reason, like everybody just stood in line to be sold." It's pretty much what it is. Some of the childhood victims who were plaintiffs in the long-running lawsuit when it was filed in 2009 have since reportedly died of suicide or drug overdoses. About 4,000 juvenile convictions were overturned by the state after the scheme was exposed. Wow, 4,000 convictions. Connor said the two former judges breached the public trust. Their cruel and despicable actions victimized a vulnerable population of young people, many of whom were suffering from emotional issues and mental health concerns. Just nuts. Just nuts. Wow, there's another headline up there. All right. Hand me a couple of vapes. Only got one tab left and then headlines. As you can tell, there were quite a few headlines if I pulled that many stories out of it. Oh, man. Alrighty, better. Alright. Ah, my neck is tearing me up. My back just tears me up in general, but my neck has just been insane. Let's see. I thought this was interesting. Major airline bets on supersonic travel. U.S. carrier American Airlines announced on Tuesday that it will purchase up to 20 Overture jets from aircraft maker Boom Supersonic with an option for an additional 40 planes. The deal is the second firm order in the past 2 years for Boom, which is still years from building its first commercial airplane. The Overture order book, including purchases and options from American Airlines, United Airlines, and Japan Airlines, currently stands at 130 aircraft. Supersonic travel will be an important part of our ability to deliver for our customers, American's Chief Financial Officer Derek Kerr said in a statement announcing the order. The company is paying Boom an undisclosed amount as a non-refundable deposit. The supersonic jet is scheduled to roll off the production line from 2025 and will enter service by 2029. It will have a range of 4,250 nautical miles, or 4,890 miles, and will be able to carry up to 80 passengers. Overture will fly on sustainable aviation fuel, offering lower emissions at speeds of Mach 1.7 over water, which is twice the speed of today's fastest commercial aircraft, though below the Concorde's top speed of Mach 2.04. Passengers want flights that are faster, more convenient, more sustainable, and that's what Overture delivers, Boom CEO Blake Scholl told CNBC. Flight times can be as little as half as what we have today, and that works great in the networks like American, where we can fly to Miami to London in less than 5 hours, he explained. So, that's going to be an interesting development if we make it that far. Man, I'm so going to have to listen to that that song after this show. Man of War Defender. That is like such an awesome song. Let's see. Alright. Yeah, the e-cig's in dire need of new wick. So like I say, I'll be making that e-juice tomorrow, and I'll do what I can. I'm going to do everything I can to get a video of it. It's not going to be the best, most perfect how-to video or anything. Just going to give you an idea of what I do. Pardon me. Of what I do to make the e-juice. It's really simple. It's really simple. I know there's a fair amount of people that vape, and there's a lot of people that vape that just buy their juice. It's not really that expensive, so they just buy it. They don't realize how much cheaper it is to make it. It's exponentially cheaper, which is one of the reasons I do it. But the main reason is because it's easy to store back supplies to make a whole hell of a lot of juice. So, when the smokers who still smoke cigarettes, and I don't have anything against them, hell, I just couldn't afford it, and it was killing me. But they're going to run out of cigarettes, and the 7-Eleven's not always going to be there. That was what I was trying to answer. The solution, I should say, I was trying to seek back when I was a smoker. And then vaping came out, and I'm like, I can store a whole lot of that in a small amount of space. You know, if you think 2 years worth of cigarettes, man, how big of a room would that fill up? 2 years worth of cigarettes. 2 years worth of vaping you could put in a pretty small box. Alright, let's see. Another sip of tea and a vape, and we'll get ready on these, or get started on these headlines. Alrighty, panicked train passenger jump into wildfire. Kinda crazy. Moscow rejects nuclear power theft claims. Top Trump critic, I'll try that again. Top Trump critic loses Congress seat. Russian regions report rising revenues, says RBK. Labor shortages hit UK harvest. Zelensky aid threatens Europe's longest bridge. Apple diversifying away from China, says media. German energy provider faces huge losses. Germany wants to retake Polish soil, says an official. Japan resumes Russian oil imports. I covered that one. Australia terminates Russian embassy lease. West eyes branding Russia exporter of blood diamonds, says New York Times. Greens offer solution to UK for energy crisis. Are they all going to, ride on exercise bikes that have generators on them? Let's see. No agreement with U.S. forbidding attack on Crimea, says Kiev. Israel and Turkey announce normalization of ties. Kremlin-friendly politicians may grab power in the West, says The Spectator. A Turkish official claims for UN Security Council reform. NATO ready to intervene in Kosovo, says Stoltenberg. European banks restart Russian bond trading, says FT. Putin gives advice on tackling alcoholism. A former Moscow nightclub king found dead in the U.S. Ex-tennis star calls for Ukraine flags at U.S. events to annoy Russians. I thought that was kind of crazy. Russian Giga Chad decides to run for office. Some big bodybuilder dude. Ukraine likely to be put on ammo diet, says U.S. military expert. A top RAF official quits over woke policies, says media. China highly appreciates Putin's stance on Pelosi's Taiwan trip. Russian Starbucks gets new name and logo. Airbnb introduces new anti-party technology. Drug scandal shakes elite Norwegian unit. defeated Trump critic likens herself to Abraham Lincoln. Okay. YouTuber roasts CNN for stealing his video. Serbia does not need foreign bases, said Vucic. A huge explosion rips through Kabul mosque. German Chancellor issues Holocaust comment following criticism. Russian embassy warns EU state it might end up in debt. Most Americans oppose Biden's foreign policy, says a poll. A German security official warns about enemies of the state. Mali seeks UN help to stop France abetting terrorists. A Russian billionaire sues Navalny. WHO issues monkeypox warning to pet owners. Ambassador picks over crumbs of Russia-U.S. relations. NATO laments Afghanistan tragedy. And lastly, CDC admits to botched COVID-19 response. Huh, you don't say. I had no clue that there was anything even remotely botched about anything that the CDC or WHO or the mainstream media or the major platforms or no, they all did a swell job at censoring the truth. Anyway, that's the headlines that I've got for you. I am going to sneak out the back door. Literally, I got to go get the trash cans. Still haven't went out and got them. So, I'm going to go grab those and be in bed very, very soon. Alright, I am out of here. I hope you all have a good night. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow. I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.